Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for coming today for this major announcement on the status of the bald eagle by Secretary of the Interior Dirk Kempthorne. Welcome to the Jefferson Memorial. First, let me thank the National Park Service for hosting us today. It's my honor initially to introduce from the Department of the Interior's Bureau of Indian Affairs, with a special blessing, Mr. Scott Aiken.
Bujonikan. Good morning, friends. For indeed, we're all friends here gathered today to celebrate this special occasion of this delisting. I say miigwech to thank you to the Fish and Wildlife Service, who have asked me to come here today to take part in this celebration and to give a blessing on this event. I've been asked not only as a person who has worked for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for much of my career, but also as an Indian person who balances daily the two worlds in which I live in, to balance that as one. So I say to the north, as we look back to the White House here, Pandise, I call on you, Gajamanado, Lord God. To the east, Wadabuk, I call on you. To the south, Kadise, I call on you. And to the west, Wedge Gishmok, I call on you, Creator God. I call on you, Lord, to continue to bless Kumdekwe, this Mother Earth, and all your creation.
As we celebrate the eagle's success, we should remember that there are some 1,300 other species in the United States that are still endangered. None of them is the nation's symbol, but every one of them is a symbol of the need to do a better job conserving the nation's natural heritage. One of the keys to doing that, I believe, is providing greater incentives to landowners and others to enlist their help in conserving rare species. And as I'm sure you know, Secretary Kempthorne, and I hope you know, Secretary Paulson, there are some good ideas being proposed in Congress right now to create some meaningful tax incentives for that, exactly that sort of cooperation from private landowners. If we succeed in recovering not only the eagle, but our other imperiled species as well, our children can look forward to a future shared with eagles and filled with a sense of wonder.
On behalf of the National Wildlife Federation, I would like to thank everyone who has been working for decades to get to this day. The landowners, the conservationists, the scientists, the federal, the state, and the local officials. It's a job well done. It's not a job that's over. We need to continue monitoring the progress that we've made with the eagle and continuing diligently to protect its habitat. But today we can celebrate. It's a great day. Thank you.
State biologists, for example, are often engaged in coordinating or implementing the Midwinter Eagle Survey, which now I believe is approaching its 30 years of successful data collection that gave us the kind of information that was needed to lead to a decision such as this. And the states will step up to the plate, I'm sure, to help with post-delisting monitoring efforts that will be needed to make sure the eagle populations remain secure and healthy.
After years of careful study, public comment, and planning, the Department of the Interior and the Fish and Wildlife Service are confident in the future security of the American bald eagle. From this point forward, we will work to ensure that the eagle never again needs the protection of the Endangered Species Act. After it is delisted, the bald eagle will remain protected by two federal laws, the Bald and Golden Eagle Protection Act and the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has acted to ensure a smooth transition to management under these laws. This day is indeed long in coming. More than a decade ago, when I was a United States Senator, I stood outside the United States Capitol with Molly Beatty, the first female director of the Fish and Wildlife Service, at an event highlighting the conservation efforts underway to bring the bald eagle back to full health. Today, we fulfill the promise of that event of Rachel Carson, Molly Beatty, our current Fish and Wildlife Service Director, Dale Hall, and so many other professionals dedicated, like them, who fought to protect and restore this magnificent species. Today, we mark the return of America's bald eagle to the skies and celebrate the fact that eagles fly free from sea to shining sea. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I will now affix my signature to the final delisting rule. I'm happy to be joined by one of our special guests, Challenger. Challenger is a non-releasable bald eagle cared for by the nonprofit American Eagle Foundation. In early 1989, Challenger was blown from a wild nest as a baby during a storm. It was hand-raised by the people who found him. Unfortunately, he experienced too much human contact at a very young age and became highly human socialized. As a result, Challenger thinks that he is a person and cannot survive on his own in the wild. Challenger and his handler, Al Ciceri, who also joins us today, has traveled the country since 1993 educating Americans about this magnificent species.
Chief of the Endangered Species Program, what are your thoughts about the bald eagle event today?
Today is a momentous occasion. After 40 years of a lot of hard work by many people, including service, state, tribal, and a lot of non-governmental agencies, we have achieved the recovery of the bald eagle after 40 years of hard work.
And do you think it was a good choice we picked the eagle over the wild turkey?
I think it is. The bald eagle shows resiliency. The bald eagle shows a lot of character, and its recovery shows the mettle of this nation.
The bald eagle and its removal from the Endangered Species Act. But the work doesn't stop. We are at this point in time because we have diligently protected the habitat, protected the nest sites, dealt with the pesticide issues that affected in a dramatic way the reproduction capabilities of not only the bald eagle but many birds and other critters. It will require serious diligence on the part of the federal government, the states, local landowners to ensure that our shorelines are protected, our contiguous habitat areas are protected, and that we continue to observe the important elements that are essential for bald eagle sustainability. Shorelines are important for a number of reasons. They're extremely important to the life cycle of bald eagles for their feeding, their roosting. A lot of nesting activity occurs along the shorelines. And so the bald eagle really depends on healthy, open shorelines for their life requirements. Shorelines also happen to be the place where many of us like to live. And we need to be careful to maintain that balance of open space, protected areas, conservation diligence as we move forward. It hardly matters what you do for species if you don't take care of their habitat. That's the deal. It's always the habitat. And that's what's important about shorelines, buffer zones, aquatic